Welcome, one and all, to the first White Coral Mayoral debate at the wonderful White Coral University Theater. Tonight's CNN coverage is brought to you by Enderman Movers. Call now for a free quote and to learn about our no eye contact policy as to avoid those awkward conversations with total strangers. Enderman Movers will take whatever and place it wherever. And now, for your moderator for tonight's debate, airport manager, button pusher extraordinaire, and real-life space reporter, Whit Aviator!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and let me personally welcome you to this first debate.
You got this, Sam!
Yeah. Tonight's debate will help inform the people of White Coral in order to enable them who to decide to govern them in the future. Out of respect for this, and so everyone can hear everything that is said tonight, we ask that you please refrain from your applause until the very end of the debate, and the applause light is turned on. Also, please stifle your laughter if possible. Now, let's welcome our two candidates, Jack and Sam. Hello, Mayor Jack and Mr. Sam, and congratulations for winning your respective parties' nominations to run in this event. I am your moderator for tonight, as I am the only non-candidate here who is legally old enough to use silencing techniques should this get out of hand. That being said, tonight's debate will contain several topics of every nature. These topics will be decor and infrastructure, national security, criminal justice, and the economy. Each topic will have a series of questions that may evolve as the debate goes on. Each candidate will have a minute and a half to answer each question, and then 45 seconds to rebut their opponent. There is only one rebuttal per candidate, per question. Now, these questions are relatively open-ended, but the Elections Committee of White Coral has looked at other recent elections from around the world and has devised some rules. We ask that you please only speak during your turn and not interrupt the other candidate. We ask that you please respect science and the people who know more than you. If you don't know something, please just be honest about that. And finally, and most importantly, please refrain from ranting about it on Twitter at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, no matter the results of the debate. We all have better things to do.
I don't even have Twitter.
Okay. Are you ready, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Let's begin with the first topic, which is economy. And the first question. Mayor Jack, we will start with you. What will you do to improve the economy of White Coral?
White Coral is a very unbalanced economy. We have mostly really wealthy people in our society and really poor. So with our government-funded money, we will start a brand new charity to help the less needy in our town of White Coral. We hope that we can help you.
Mayor Jack, I just want to clarify something. You said the less needy. Does that imply that you will be giving money to the people who already have it?
I meant less fortunate.
Thank you for that clarification. Mr. Sam, your answer to the question, please.
I will do. I have discussed this with Quincy in his video. And for the people who work at White Coral, I'll make sure that they get paid more for their jobs and lower the prices of tax.
Mayor Jack, your rebuttal?
So are you saying, Sam, that you will make even the richer people, they will get more money for their jobs?
No, I will basically figure out who is wealthy and who's not.
Mr. Sam, can you elaborate on this for a little? We are receiving many concerns from our viewers across the realm that have stated their possible concern over this foreseen government meddling in the economy. Can you just elaborate on what you mean by figuring out who the wealthy and who the poor are?
Have a public meeting for everybody in White Coral, and we'll talk to them about it.
Moving on to the next question. Currently, the economy of White Coral tends to be less in favor of the average worker, such as your humble airport manager. What will you do to improve the wage and welfare of workers in the state of Del Costa?
We will not be raising taxes, do not worry, but we will be using more of our government money to give to the workers rather than most of it going to builds.
I'll do. With the money that I have, that's the money that I'll use to help pay the poor people.
So, Mr. Sam, if I understand you correctly, you are saying that you are going to be using your own money to fund White Coral. Mayor Jack, do you have anything to say about that?
Well, my only concern with him using his own money is, well, that he is making the town I would say that is a very good thing to do, using his own money to spend on the town. But what is he going to do with the government money from taxes and all that?
That to lower the taxes.
Okay, one final question on the topic of economy. Both of you have talked about lowering taxes or not raising them. Unfortunately, that puts many of our civil servants, such as our airport managers and police chiefs, at the mercy of the government. Those individuals are some of the least fortunate ones in White Coral. That means that you will be essentially lowering their salaries. Is this true? Or
No.
do you have a plan to allocate different portions of the taxes to these individuals?
No. Our taxes currently in White Coral are for businesses only. We do not want to make everybody have to pay taxes if they can't afford it. So currently, the only taxpayers are the business owners, usually the more wealthy.
Mr. Sam?
What I'll do, I'll use the wealthy people. They'll have to actually pay the taxes because they have more money. But the people who don't have a lot of money, they won't have to pay for taxes.
So,
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are going to take a short commercial break.
This is Nora. She suffers from seasickness. However, Nora doesn't have to be seasick because she has hydrocalcium glyoxide. Hydrocalcium glyoxide helps reduce nausea to as little as 1%, and 9 out of 10 experts recommend it. Come to the Cape Starfish Farms to buy hydrocalcium glyoxide today. Hydrocalcium glyoxide may cause headache, dizziness, and complete inability to breathe, as well as paleness, indigestion, chest pain, weakness, and nausea. This product is Quincy Corp approved. Hydrocalcium glyoxide to help with all of your seasickness needs.
Take some time to laugh. Maybe it's been a while, but even try to smile, 'cause today is only here and then it's tomorrow. There's no point living a life that's full of regret and drowning in sorrow. Lift your head up high and open your eyes. You can choose to be happy. If you try, you might be surprised.
Welcome back to CNN, and on to our next topic in tonight's White Coral Mayoral debate, decor and infrastructure. We are starting out with a very, very heated topic. There have been many reports of hanging trees in the area, which is against the law. What do you plan to do about this? If it is bad, are moderators of debates pardoned from said action if committed in the past?
we have had our local police officer, James, come and hunt them down in a case. We will continue to do this. They can either choose to fix their mistakes and bring the wood back, or they can choose to use community service.
I think the most reasonable solution to do is just destroy the leaves that are just hanging down because they serve no purpose really at all. It's just there.
Well,
Mr. Sam, what do you plan to do to the individuals who are convicted of such a horrendous crime?
I'm thinking that we should go over there and destroy the leaves that are hanging there.
so wouldn't that just make all the people who commit this awful crime just off the hook? We will have even more people who are just cutting down trees and leaving them floating.
No, we could destroy the trees there and then plant new ones where they exactly were.
You're the only one doing this, correct?
I don't know.
So you're just gonna have
Gentlemen,
more and more
we are
people.
gentlemen. Unfortunately, we are over time for this question, and we have to move on. Well, I appreciate your responses. What kind of builds or decorations will you create and implement, if any, to make White Coral look even nicer and transport it truly into a 21st century city?
With the White Coral Beach project, we have been slowly restoring beaches and making them more beautiful and making more beautiful terrain. With my campaign, we will be continuing to do that and make White Coral even more beautiful.
Mr. Sam, what are your plans to improve White Coral in terms of builds or decorations?
When this entire election stuff began, we started planting flowers all over White Coral where we thought needed a bit more flowers and not just plain open grass fields. We planted some flowers there.
So I've seen where you've placed those flowers in their next to your campaign signs.
Okay, so I'll once I get elected, I'll stop placing signs, but I've noticed that when I place signs, you destroy them and place up your signs. What do you got to say about that?
There's no
Mayor Jack, we are going to move on to criminal justice. We have already covered the topic of hanging trees as being one of our laws and something that you two plan to do something about. However, you do have fairly few and simple laws. But how will you enforce the laws and legislation of White Coral onto these citizens? Mr. Sam?
I think that we can have the government pay for new trees in place for the ones that are...
Mr. Sam, this question is not about hanging trees.
Can I have a minute to think about that, because I have no idea what the question even is about?
Mr. Sam, the question is fairly simple. It's simply how are you going to make sure that these citizens of White Coral are following the laws that you enact as mayor?
Once somebody commits a crime that we don't know about yet, isn't in the law book, unquote, we can add that to the law book, what they did.
So you were saying, for example, if somebody here in this town were to say, do something you didn't like, you would add it as a law and arrest them or make them pay a fee.
No, we would get the government to agree that we should put it in the law book.
So the people would vote, but
Gentlemen, we have to move on. Our time is slowly running out. We are going to move on to tonight's final topic: national security and overall safety.
Dude, I just got kicked.
Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are having some technical difficulties. We are going to cut to a short commercial break.
Elect James Dudeman as the chief of the White Coral Police Department.
I'm James Dudeman, and I approve this message.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. What do you plan to do about the local mob situation and avoid creeper holes or destroyed buildings?
the creepers and all these other mobs have been terrorizing our town. Our police have slowly been making sure that people will keep the mobs as low as possible, but of course they can't do that 100%. So we will make sure there stays a law that all of the residents have a right to bear weapons to defend themselves.
Jack, can you give a brief description of what you're saying? Because I was talking to my mom.
Mr. Sam, are you colluding with outside sources to gain your answers for this debate?
I was in the middle of a talk with my mom. She's about to leave. And my finger's bleeding. We can place where the mobs are and where they typically spawn, where people are. We can place even more torches than there already are.
What about the places that they're spawning outside the town? What are you gonna do about that?
Build a big wall.
You're gonna build a wall? Well, how will all the people come into White Coral?
Oh, did you even hear what I said? I said I was kidding.
If you were joking, this isn't a time for joking. This is a serious debate. You know that, right? Right, Smo?
Yeah, well, you told me to joke. Maybe it was Quinn, actually. I don't remember.
So your campaign manager is telling you to joke.
No, I said it might have been you.
Gentlemen, we are going to ask that you please not insult each other's character. We are way better than the United States of America here. We are not trying to stoop down to their level. Okay, we are going to move on to the final question of tonight's debate. Why should you be chosen to be the new mayor or the re-elected mayor and not your opponent? We're switching things up, and let's start with you, Mr. Sam.
What I'm gonna do, like I was talking about earlier, except this is the same thing. Me and one of my workers, Quincy, are gonna plant flowers everywhere to make White Coral more beautiful.
Mr. Sam, you still have some time left. Is there anything else you would like to add on why you should be chosen to be the mayor over your opponent?
Oh, not really.
Mayor Jack, with the final word of the night, please answer that question.
So, in White Coral, I will continue to keep the White Coral Beach project in terraforming going. We will make White Coral the most beautiful town in all of Del Costa, and all of the rest of Del Costa will be beautiful as well. In Del Costa, I will make sure that you all stay safe from mobs, and I will make sure that the more unfortunate will have enough money to sustain themselves and sustain their families. And all of the stuff that I've done as mayor now will continue. So, that's why you should vote for me.
Gentlemen, thank you both very much. And for those of you watching at home, thank you very much for joining us here on CNN for tonight's coverage of the first mayoral debate. And remember to go out and execute your 132nd Amendment right to vote as accordance to the Del Costa Constitution. Thank you all very much, and stay safe and have a great night.